Hey everyone, thanks again for for joining us. It's 6 p.m. Eastern time on day 4 of a conference, and I really appreciate all of you sticking with us. Despite the week of Zoom overload. So, but it's been a great week. I've been loving spending time with you. So this session, this evening is a little bit of a departure. A little bit different situation than the other things you've been hearing about. And I want to thank Brenda and Sharon also for bearing with my scheduling mess up. So thank you both for that. And thank you all for joining us despite that too. So I think maybe to start, Sharon, I think everyone knows because, she's been so involved in the conference. But Brenda, this is your first appearance this week. So could you just tell folks just a little bit about who you are? And then we'll dive into the crux of the discussion after that.
Great. I'm a pastor. I'm a writer. I write over at bravester.com, bravester.com. I write about faith, parenting teens, just stuff that I've been doing for 40 years. But in this work I've done, I've begun mentoring a new children's writer that was passed on to me. I have a couple of boys who are serving time in prison, and one of my boys recommended Latif to me as a great writer. And so the long story is I am not a children's writer. I have never born my own children. I just mentioned I have some sons, but I got them when they were in their teens through church, and I've kept them over time. It's a whole other story. It's on my website. So Kenneth recommended Latif to me with a talent, but I didn't know if he had a talent or not because I've never read children's books. I've never have. One of my secrets is I've never changed a diaper in my life. I know it's one of those things you can't believe when I've got 5 grandchildren and I'm keeping my streak going. Because at this point I'm doing it,
That's got to change. I'm sorry, with grandkids.
I've got one baby coming in October, so I got one more to overcome. Anyway, so I know nothing about children's books. And so in my desperate attempt to know if Latif had any talent, I met Brian. And Brian took an interest in this story and Latif's possibility and invited me here for the last conference to introduce Latif. And through that invitation, I got to meet Sharon. And Sharon recognized, I don't know, the heart of Latif that I was able to present. Anyway, Sharon has now become his agent and he's writing a 5 book series, and I'm going to let Sharon take over because she has recognized that he's got something to say it's very unique because of his background and coming from a prison side of things. So Sharon, tell us the update on Latif, really.
Okay, so last year Brenda was talking about this fella, and that the bottom line was, well, will you take a look at it? So that's where it started. Would you take a look at it? And I sure, sure, I'll take a look at it. And I was intrigued by his just his passion for what he really wanted to do. He really wanted to reach out to young people so that they would not make the mistakes that he made. And in the midst, right, of being imprisoned and, all that entails, he still wanted to do something, right, for youngsters. So I said, hey, let's go for it. Let's go for it. So he is writing a series of books to, again, help kids not make the mistakes, that he made. So we've done everything, with him. He has a website.
He does.
Stay Focused, Stay Free is his website.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Yep. He has friends on the outside. Right?
Yeah. Well, tell people how you have to communicate with
Well, there is a way for me, he and I, to basically email,
Oh, you
back
can,
and
okay.
forth, right, through the prison system. It's called JPay, and so he writes to me, and I get those, notes, and read them, and then write back to him. It's just like email, it's just through their system. He actually sent me the nicest Mother's Day card.
Wonderful, wonderful.
He said he knew I was as great a mother as I am an agent.
How cool is that?
That's great.
That is so great.
If you go on my website, his picture is on my website with all my other authors. So that's fantastic. He's written his proposal. I am in the process of editing his proposal and editing his manuscripts. So, the topics are like drugs ain't cool, right? Guns ain't cool. Skipping school ain't cool. So we have a series of these things. And he has a little character who is about 10 years old. And this little fella goes through, being approached, right, on the street about using a gun or, using drugs or whatever. And he's always able to make the right choice. And so, yeah.
Wow. So let's go over this in a little bit more detail. You said like there's a 5-book series that he's working on, basically.
Right. I don't know if I've made it 5 or 7.
No, I understand that may change, but
yeah.
But
Yeah.
But you've got a whole lineup kind of plan.
Right. And he's already written 3 of the manuscripts, and I'm
Wow.
editing them now. And again, he's followed my directions and has written his proposal. So I'm going through that and editing that now.
So are the books like MG or picture book or?
They're picture books.
They're picture books.
Yeah.
And what age target?
They're early readers.
Okay.
So, right. It would be 7 to 10.
Okay. Wow.
Right. So the same kids that are being approached by the same, temptations at that age. That's his audience. Yeah. And so, so now on his website, he is wanting to publish other little short stories so that the people who go to his website can start seeing his writing. Okay. The only problem is the manuscripts that he wants to put on the website are like sweet stories. And that's not at all what his books are. So we have to, so he has one story about, the kid who wants a puppy, and it's like, that's not quite, guns ain't cool, drugs ain't cool.
Not really sticking with his theme, is it?
Yeah. So we're kind of trying to discuss through that. I don't want to throw people for a loop who get, excited about his nice little stories on the website, and then they see these books that come out, and what is he talking about? So we have to do something about kind of evening that out.
Agreed. I agree. Because the power of his books, his first one is all about, carrying a gun for an older teen. And that's, I can't hardly imagine who's going to have to illustrate that book. But that's important, that these young kids get to see another kid in that scenario. So it's definitely a different book.
Yeah.
But it's important.
Because the older kids are the ones who recruit the younger kids.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the whole idea,
Mm-hmm.
So I have a couple of illustrators in mind. Don't worry, Brenda.
Okay. I
got that. I
can't picture this cute little Taekwon with a gun. I mean, it's just like, but this is the power of the book. It's going to be, there's nothing like it out there. And I'm so excited to know that there's someone else sees that this is important, and we'll believe for a publisher that's going to see it as important too.
Yeah.
So Brenda, where Latif was before he was incarcerated, was that near like where you live in the same state? I don't remember where you live.
Yeah, I'm outside Washington, D.C. in Virginia. Latif grew up in Richmond, Virginia.
Okay.
He was definitely, he's street born. He was in foster care by the age of 2. And on and off foster care with his mom on the streets. He's got a son. He was 14 years old when he had his son.
Wow.
He's incarcerated by 17.
Wow.
So he is.
And how old is he now?
32.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He is such a nice man. He is such a nice man. And I'm just so excited, about the possibilities.
Well, the fact, like Brenda was describing, she contacted me, because she said, I don't know anything about writing, but I've got this situation. And I thought, well, why don't you come and talk, at our conference, and just a Q&A, just like we're doing right now. And, tell that story. And Sharon just jumped right in there, and said, okay, like you said, let me take a look, and oh my goodness. Now what's the name of the website that he's got?
Stay focused, stay free.
Stay what?
Focused.
Stay focused, stay free.
Mm-hmm.
.com?
Yep. And there's an email sign up there. And if you sign up tonight, May 13th, tomorrow we're sending his first email to his subscribers.
Ah, cool.
Yes, we've come to this point, and I said, let's make it a goal to send your first email after this conference in case more people want to sign up. So if you just want to follow his story, his writing, like I said, his email for tomorrow is not children's writing. It's just more from him. He writes sweet. He writes about his real life, and then he writes about his heart, which is to really protect the kids.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So this is just a way to get more of his writing in the state and follow this really interesting story.
I guess.
The minute we get a publisher, you're going to hear about it because it's going to be big.
It's going to be big.
Well, then you can do the movie after you do the book, right?
Yeah, right.
So
I have to have a cameo in the movie.
So Sharon, let's talk like publishing strategy now, right? As we've been talking all week about, okay, how do you get published? So what is your strategy on, who you approach, what the proposal, yada, yada, yada.
Right. Well, of course, the manuscripts have to be great, and they are, really interesting little stories. But this is one of those situations where it's about platform. And when I'm talking about platform, I'm really not talking about who he already is talking to, but the interest, right, in his story and who he is, and just the fact that if we're going to talk about diversity and where stories can come from and how we can really listen to anyone, this is definitely a person who, basically we don't think about prisoners, unless we are at church and we're in prison ministry, right? And then we think about it. But basically, we basically tend to go, okay, they did wrong. They're in there.
They're forgotten and they're written off.
Yeah. They should be serving their time, and we forget that these men and women are regular people, and, sometimes, like a lot of people used to say there, but for the grace of God, right? Go I. And so they may and may not be guilty. We're dealing with a lot when we're dealing with, Black and brown people in prison, whether that's really, did you really do it? Or, and how,
yeah.
Again, how people of color tend to get longer sentences for the same crimes. There's like so many things that are wrapped up that hearing from someone who is in prison, who definitely has something to say, something that he wants to say that is helpful, right?
Yep.
For other people, shows him as a human being, right? And shows that whole segment of society, right, in a new light that I think it's important for us to pay attention to. So all of that is wrapped up in getting his books published.
So Sharon's got her sales hat on.
Oh yeah.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So yeah, I mean, this could be huge. I mean, who knows, right? But I mean, it certainly could be.
And we've been praying about it too, so watch out.
Exactly.
Well, we're going to do a book launch interview once it's ready to launch, and I'm going to help you get the word out through my communication channels too, for sure. So you can put that in your little platform statement that, Writing for Your Life and Publishing in Color and Compassionate Christianity and How to Heal Our Divides are all going to try to help get the word out when this book arrives. Books.
Right. Books. Yeah. So, since I have been full-time now, right, in the business, I've also been hunting for BIPOC illustrators as well, not only for BIPOC authors, but right, to get, Black and brown illustrators in the business, as well. And so several young women who are college students have contacted me, and I just got a children's job for another company with one of those young women. So, and she'll be making a nice little piece of change. She's in college and she's going to be doing this professional, illustrating job. So
excellent.
It could be one of those young ladies who will, it just depends, of course.
Depends on the publisher, right? Because the publishers typically, select
sometimes the publishers, want to use their own people. My series that's coming out with Elk Lake, they're giving me the opportunity. They showed me some people, but they said, hey, if you know people, let us see. They're going to vet the pictures and all. So that's going to be fun. Yeah, the whole journey is exciting. I'm excited for Latif, and grateful for Brenda and all the other people who are helping him with the website and and all those kinds of things. That I can't do all that right for him, but I can get him a publisher.
Well, it's just terribly interesting. I just subscribed to his email, so I hope he gets lots of subscriptions this evening.
Yeah, please sign up, so that you can hear from him. That would be wonderful. Yeah. Any questions? Does anybody have any other questions maybe for us?
Yes, please go ahead. Well, it's quite a science. And Sharon, again.
Well, Dennis is trying to get.
Yeah, Dennis, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll just ask, when is he due to be released? And the reality is that something like this could call his name's attention to people in authority, and he might even get out of jail as a result of it.
Yeah. Absolutely. As Sharon was alluding to, he was 17 when he was sentenced, unmothered, unprotected, got a 40-year sentence. He's way overcharged. But we need, and there's a new law. Hopefully, we'll get passed in the next year or two for juveniles who are serving adult time. So everything's lining up, and we're going to need a lawyer to help write the the legal word for it, but he's definitely is what's the word? That's not legalese, but he can get a shorter sentence very likely with this new law, with the right lawyer, with some funds, and then I think having having a book contract and showing good for the community is only going to help. But in Virginia, we don't have probation for violent offenders. So he's never going to have that probationary hearing to say, are you ready to go on probation? He'll never have that opportunity. But he can get a lot of those years chopped off because it was an unprotected minor who was not protected well by the system. And this is, you hear about this more and more, and he is definitely the face of what happened.
Wow.
And to answer your other part of the question, of course, I don't know when the books will be released. I'm just finishing the editing of the manuscripts, and I should be sending them in within the next week or so. Well, starting to pitch them.
Sure. Well, please keep us posted, on how this all goes. I mean, my goodness, what a saga. What an interesting, situation, opportunity. I mean, I just really, 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 really hope that this goes well, exceedingly well.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Sure. Talking.
Yeah. Do you already have a lawyer looking into whether he can get out or not? Or did you need all of us to be talking to lawyers to see if somebody would be willing to do this?
That's a really good question. He does not have the funds to get his own lawyer. So we've been really, literally trusting God for a lawyer to pop up and take on this case, to hear his story and take on this case. So Marcia, yes, he's got a, Virginia system, Virginia law. But yes, if you know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, take on this good, worthy case. I mean, this kid is ready to be out. And he's not going to harm society again. I mean, yes, this is exactly what we're praying for. Somebody will know somebody who can take this case so that any money he earns does not need to go to legal fees. It can go to his life fees.
Great question. Go ahead, Dennis.
I just looked it up. I think it's called the Innocence Project, and they have them around the country. And that is an organization that will take pro bono work to do these kinds of things, if I'm not mistaken. So
right, but he's not innocent. So they're because my own boys are in the system too. I'm very familiar with them, but he's not innocent, and their cases to take are so many that his would never rise to the top. This is somebody who's really interested in the over sentencing of Black and brown men. That's the interest.
Okay, so then Brenda would be your contact, and then
yeah,
Brenda through Brian.
Yes.
Yeah. Anybody can send me an email. I'll forward it to Brenda.
Yes.
That's easy.
Yes. I am the one. Again, he doesn't have parents. I mean, they're alive.
I mean, I've never done a Kickstarter campaign or anything like that. I mean, have you thought about that?
Getting the book kickstarted has been exhausting.
Yeah.
I can't imagine of running a fundraising campaign and all that promotion for that. I would hope if we find the right lawyer, that would help the campaign. The more his website is populated, that will help the campaign because we got a launch platform there.
Yep.
Versus it's just the limited. I checked just now. He's only got 7 subscribers on his website, and it's been up for 2 months now. I think maybe less than that, but through my means, it's just hasn't really caught on. And
well, I'm gonna post about this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I'll help get the word out just about his website and his story, and encourage people to sign up and learn about him.
Right, and that's what the site is
How much it'll
for.
help, I can't guarantee that, but at least in terms of whatever reach I've got, I'll help get the
I'm
word.
also trying to work for us to actually figure out what he can be doing with the website, that people will want to come to it.
Right.
Right. So like I said, he wants to post those nice, sweet little stories. And, so we have to find some, maybe that's fine as we talk about what the the book series will be,
Yeah, I think that's fine.
you know, then
You know,
the nice stories, Aiden wants a puppy. Another one, the little girl is looking for her coat. I mean, some things like that maybe people would like those stories.
I don't know. I mean, he does need a steady stream of content. I mean,
Right.
doesn't have to be real frequent, but you know, it's got to be at least, you know, consistent to some degree.
Yeah.
You know?
So on the site already, he's got 3 like blog articles that he's written, and they're for adults. And Sharon has him so busy writing that he's hardly had time to do this other writing for their website, but which is, you know, great because he's got time, right? So he's got 3 other articles. One is he had COVID over Christmas, and it's a real honest look about what COVID looked like in prison, and that, as you know, as 2 of my boys are in prison and 1 got COVID. He didn't tell me all that what Latif told me. It's a good story. It's real. And then this latest one is about a hearing he had for a trumped up charge from one of the correction officers. So this is not pretty writing, but it's adult writing. But that's on the site all ready for him.
I mean, I think at this point that's perfectly fine.
I do too, because that's part of the story.
Because who's going to subscribe to his
serving
email?
his time.
It's not going to be middle graders that are going to subscribe to his email.
Exactly.
Right. It's going to be adults. So that's fine. That's what he needs for now.
That's what I've been telling them, that the more they know him through this kind of writing, and like the email going out tomorrow is also just, you get to a window into him, not his children's writing, but into who he is.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys. This is so cool. You know, I love what you've done. I'm thrilled. I just hope that it catches, you know, and I really hope, you know, Sharon, if there's anything I can do to help, you know, try to get a book deal, or not, you know, that I have any influence in such things, but I mean, you know, whatever I can do to help, please let me know.
Okay. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much again for the story. Thanks you.
All right. Stay in touch on it. Let us know how things go.
Stay focused, stay free.
Yeah. There you go. .com. All right. See you, everybody.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you.